Caitlin Clark, please leave this league and let it crumble. Please, this league does...
Fans are sounding off loud and clear on social media. Let the league fall apart if this keeps up. This outcry comes after the WNBA's brightest star has been repeatedly mistreated, turning her into a constant target. What started as tough physical play has escalated into a disturbing pattern of off-ball fouls, cheap hits, and questionable calls from referees that seem to work against her. The WNBA was blessed with a once-in-a-generation talent, a true game-changer who broke records for viewership and attendance. Yet, instead of shielding their biggest asset, the league appears to be allowing her to face relentless attacks. This growing controversy has ignited a firestorm of anger among fans, anger so fierce it could threaten the very future of the league.
The game, I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so, at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do.
The stats speak for themselves. Caitlin Clark isn't just a star; she's a commercial powerhouse. When the Indiana Fever take the court with her, TV ratings soar to over 1 million viewers, nearly tripling the average numbers for other WNBA games. But it's not just the screens lighting up, attendance figures skyrocket too. In Atlanta, crowds jumped from around 3,300 to an incredible 17,500. Washington saw fans flood the stands, climbing from under 5,000 to more than 20,000. Caitlin Clark has ignited unprecedented excitement, driving more revenue, buzz, and spotlight to women's basketball than anyone before her.
NBA every day because of the way they play the game, because I love the WNBA. I love the way they play the game. But we really watch it because Caitlin Clark and everybody watching. Now listen, if I keep bumping her, knocking her down, might get her a concussion, you might hurt her for real. For 2 weeks, she was done with like a hamstring. She was down. 55% of the viewership was down. She comes back the next game, it's about 3 million viewers. Now let me tell you something. Growing up in the hood, they teach you this. Always protect the money. Y'all keep hurting her and all that. She going for a year or two. Ain't nobody gonna watch it. If nobody watches, how y'all gonna make and generate money? Stop playing with that girl home. Look, y'all need to start doing this. Put them emails together with the commissioner, to the referees. Don't put y'all damn hands on.
There's no question, she's the league's prized asset. Yet on the court, she's being handled like a punching bag. The attacks are obvious and non-stop. It's not just tough defense anymore, it's a steady stream of off-ball hip checks, aggressive screens, and shoves after the whistle. These moves aren't about playing the game, they're meant to intimidate. What we're witnessing isn't fair competition, but a blatant campaign of harassment happening right before our eyes.
Yeah, just go play basketball somewhere else. Your fans will follow you. We will follow you wherever you go. But let this shit crumble and burn to the fucking ground, man. Let the viewership drop below 50%. Let them lose hundreds of millions of dollars again, man. Let them go back into fucking irrelevancy. Nobody giving a damn about none of these players.
As Clark faces this constant onslaught night after night, the WNBA's response has been strikingly quiet. The league's leaders, the ones who should be standing up for their biggest star, seem frozen in place. No bold statements, no new rules for referees, no efforts to stop the rising aggression. This silence feels like a betrayal. It encourages the attackers and leaves Clark to fight alone. Officiating has turned into a farce, but this isn't funny, it's a serious failure.
To focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
In several games, Clark has been hit with technical fouls just for reacting to obvious fouls against her. The referee's message couldn't be clearer. She can be targeted, but she's not allowed to fight back or show frustration. It's a flawed system that punishes the victim and protects the aggressor, leaving fans questioning whether the league is simply failing or knowingly turning a blind eye.
Oh, y'all literally been beating this girl up, pushing her on the floor, pulling her hair, poking her in the eye. You hear me? That's dangerous, bro. Because y'all mad because she pulling up threes in your face and then talking her smack like she should. Everybody else do it, so what's different? Y'all be picking and choosing who y'all want to pick y'all battles with, bro. That's just people in...
The tipping point arrived in a tense showdown against the Connecticut Sun. The game was intense, but the pressure on Clark had reached a whole new level. In one shocking moment, she was poked in the eye. As she was still recovering, another player shoved her to the ground. Then, without hesitation, the whistle blew, and in a jaw-dropping twist, Clark was handed a technical foul. The injustice was impossible to ignore.
Marina Mabry's still staying in the game. What do you have to do to get ejected? Yeah, that's all of our question, buddy. None of us know. None of us know what you have to do to get ejected in the WNBA. You can pull hair. You can pull hair. You can drag. Stop. You don't even have to pull hair. You can drag someone to the ground by their hair and not get ejected. You can you can body check someone to the ground with no ball in sight. You can poke someone in the eye. None of these things will get you ejected. So at least we know these are the 3 things that you can do. Has anyone thrown a punch yet and not gotten ejected? I think that's just the last straw. Like, maybe that would get you ejected. Anything else? Fair game.
Fans in the arena, viewers at home, and even her own teammates watched in stunned silence. This was no longer just a hard-fought game, it was a glaring pattern of targeted abuse, made worse by officials who seemed to allow it. The tension had been mounting for weeks, but this moment was the breaking point. It lit a firestorm of outrage, making it impossible for anyone to ignore the injustice any longer.
Sophie, who's my one of my favorites now. She's become one of my favorite WNBA players. I'm gonna watch her too, like I watch Caitlin. Look at what she did. And people may not say that this was in response or whatever the case may be, but I feel like Sophie is like, you want to play? We can play. I want to play the clip of her with the girl. And your girl Sophie.
Stolson at it, knocked away. Good hands by Allen. And Sheldon comes up with the steal.
Watch it.
Going coast to coast.
What's up there?
And here's we got another breakers here as J.C. Sheldon goes right after
blonde hair
Sophie
and the high
Cunningham.
heels fool you.
It was a hard foul, no
She
good.
got her in the headlock.
With less than a minute left on the clock, Sophie Cunningham made it clear, the bullying ends now. As Connecticut's Alyssa Thomas sped down the court, Cunningham didn't just commit a foul, she made a bold statement. She grabbed Thomas by the hair, pulling her down in a shocking, dramatic move. It wasn't a quiet protest, it was a fierce, unmistakable message to the whole league. If the officials won't stand up for her teammate, she will.
Are we even surprised about this? Sophie Cunningham's jersey sales just passed Caitlin Clark's after she goes viral overnight for protecting Caitlin Clark in a game where she got fined $400, which Caitlin Clark apparently is paying for. But yeah, we found our new queen at Indiana.
In that one explosive moment, Cunningham laid bare the league's total breakdown in protecting its players. She stepped up as the enforcer fans had been desperate for, a kind of vigilante justice on a court where the rules seemed to be ignored. What happened next took the WNBA completely by surprise. The fan reaction was electric, a wave of support and shock no one saw coming.
I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
There are players in the FIBA team that are soft. And I'll say this, where it's like, it's very rare in sports that the guard is the enforcer. Everyone's like, oh, Caitlin needs to stand up for herself. And I'm like, one, she does, but two, she's a small guard. No small guard likes physicality. No small guard hunts for physicality.
The fallout from Cunningham's bold move was immediate and massive online. Before the incident, she had fewer than 400,000 followers on TikTok. Just 48 hours later, that number skyrocketed past 1.2 million. Her Instagram surged with over 800,000 new fans. Jerseys flew off shelves so quickly they disappeared for weeks. Supporters weren't just cheering her on, they were crowning her a symbol of strength. She became known as the enforcer, the people's champion, and Clark's fierce protector. This wasn't merely a viral moment, it was the birth of a cultural movement.
Caitlin Clark regularly gets picked up in the full court. She also gets blitzed more over the course of her career than any player in WNBA history or in that period of time. And she also creates some contact herself on the offensive end of the floor. She is very difficult to officiate because of all of the contact that's happening around her all of the time. That being said, I was in contact with a number of WNBA coaches yesterday about this topic of the officiating in the WNBA, and all of them said it needs to get better, specifically the consistency, not only from one game to the next, but the consistency within a game. One coach told me, we tell our players to be as physical as they can possibly be for 40 minutes because we know for 38 of them, they're pretty much going to get away with it. So I think everybody would like to see a tighter whistle and a little bit.
It showed just how desperate fans had become, watching their star player endure relentless abuse game after game. They rallied behind Cunningham, not because they celebrated the foul, but because they finally saw someone standing up for Clark. Her sudden rise wasn't just about popularity, it was a sharp criticism of the WNBA's failure to protect its own.
Never in a million years would I thought I would feel compelled to turn on that WNBA game that's going on at the same time and find myself watching it and yelling, "Drag her ass," as Sophie Cunningham is tackling Sheldon to the floor. Love it, dude. It's so good. It's so good. The WNBA has needed, and the Fever more specifically, but just in general, the WNBA has needed a Sophie Cunningham so badly. And for the record, every single team needs a Sophie Cunningham. Every team that has, their star player, their top guy, gal, whatever, you need someone on the team that when they get messed with, you put that person, whoever messed with them, on their ass. Every time. Every single team in professional sports.
When Sophie Cunningham finally addressed the media, her words broke through the usual PR noise. She didn't give a half-hearted apology or blame the heat of the moment. Instead, she sharply called out the entire system. "I think the refs had a lot to do with that," she said, her voice thick with frustration. "This has been building for years, referees just not protecting the WNBA's star player. This wasn't about a rookie mistake or a one-time incident."
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't think I'm wrong, but Caitlin Clark is the most marketable American athlete that we've had in forever. Also, Sophie Cunningham is a smoke show.
In her own words, this was a failure that stretched over years. Cunningham's statement confirmed what fans and experts had suspected all along: the problem runs deep. Her claims quickly gained support from respected ESPN analyst Rebecca Lobo, who revealed after thorough research that Caitlin Clark is treated, and defended, very differently from any other rookie in WNBA history. This wasn't just an opinion anymore, it was a proven fact, exposed by someone on the inside and confirmed by a trusted expert.
Man, I like to see it though. I'm not gonna lie, man. I really like to see girls who are hungry, feisty, can play ball, supporting their teammates. It makes it entertaining, man. It makes you want to watch WNBA. You're like, hey, they out there brawling. It's back and forth. Caitlin Clark out there hitting threes like it's going out of style. Her teammates got her back. Watching this all come together make you want to watch it a little bit, and see how they play. And I think without Caitlin and them coming to the league, I just think that I don't think it'd be as popular. I think it would have been status quo. But Caitlin Clark is making a ruckus with everybody hating on her, everybody trying to fight her. And then the fact that she plays well.
After all the drama, the viral explosion, and the clear evidence of a deeper problem, the league finally responded with a punishment for Sophie Cunningham's hair-pulling foul, the move that had dominated sports headlines for days. The penalty? A fine of just $400. Yes, you read that right. $400. It wasn't a real consequence, it was a slap in the face.
So you all know about the fight, you saw it. It's the biggest sports news story of last week. That was the one thing. But then it came out a couple of days later, Sophie Cunningham got fined. I'm just curious, what do you think the fine was? What do you think the fine was? In the NBA, you hear so-and-so fined $5,000. This person fined $10,000. I've even heard $25,000. But here's what Sophie got fined. $400. Oh my God. If that's going to be the fine, rack them up. I'm going to put $2,000 to the side, $2,500 to the side, knowing there's probably a limit. A flagrant 1 is $200. A flagrant 2 is $400 in the WNBA. Rack them up. Probably takes 4 or 5 flagrants to get suspended for a game. I don't know what the rules are. But my point is, if you're going to be messing with Caitlin, I'm going to put $2,000 to the side. Me and Caitlin are going to have a little fine bucket. $2,500. This is for the season. And then I'm going to dare people to come.
The message couldn't be clearer. Roughing up the WNBA's biggest star costs less than a new pair of sneakers. That $400 fine wasn't just laughable, it exposed the harsh reality. The league isn't serious about protecting Caitlin Clark. A penalty that small doesn't stop bad behavior, it invites more of it. It basically gives a green light for continued aggression, showing that consequences don't matter. This isn't just a broken system, it's a complete farce. What we're witnessing isn't poor leadership, it's one of the most shocking examples of business mismanagement in modern sports. The WNBA was fighting for relevance, and Caitlin Clark handed them a jackpot. She's generated millions in revenue, landed huge media deals, and pushed teams to move games into NBA arenas to meet demand. Any smart organization would guard that golden asset fiercely. Instead, the WNBA has let petty jealousies and sloppy officiating threaten its own future. They've turned their biggest star into a liability, creating a toxic environment that pushes fans away, the very fans they desperately need. This is self-sabotage on an epic scale, a textbook example of turning gold into dust. We may have already passed the point of no return. The league has set a dangerous precedent. Rough treatment of Clark will go mostly unchecked. One enforcer, no matter how committed, can't fight off a whole league's worth of resentment. What happens when multiple players gang up on her? Or worse, when a flagrant foul leads to a serious injury? Trust is broken, not just Clark's trust in the league, but the trust of her fans. And those fans have choices. International leagues would pay big to sign the biggest name in women's basketball. What was once a far-fetched idea, Clark starting her own league, is now a real possibility. The WNBA has forgotten a crucial fact: they need Clark more than she needs them. And right now, they've given her and her huge fan base every reason to look elsewhere. We're at a critical crossroads. The WNBA is making record profits off Clark, yet it's also creating a poisonous atmosphere that could drive her away. The call to leave the league is no longer a fringe opinion, it's a widespread conversation among fans and media alike. They've proven they'll follow Clark anywhere, new cities, different networks, even other leagues. Sophie Cunningham's rise as the enforcer bought the league some time, but it also revealed just how deep the problem runs. Enforcers can't fix a toxic culture or make biased officials fair. The warning signs are clear, everyone sees them except, it seems, the league's leadership. So here's the question that's ticking like a time bomb in the heart of the sport: will the WNBA be remembered as the league Caitlin Clark saved, or as the one that pushed her away and sealed its own downfall?